Hey, welcome back, friends, to Occultists Anonymous, sponsored by Roll20, the Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Thank you very much for your support, hanging out, and, watching or listening to us. If you're here live Friday nights, hey, thanks for joining us on your Friday night. If you're watching us later or listening to us on your commute, as I know some people definitely are doing, glad to be there along with you. And if you're working, I'm sorry, but we're here for you because we totally understand. A special shout out to our patrons who support us monetarily and have done weird things again. Adele, Al, Alexander, Amazingly, and Actually Articulate Adamantine Arrow, Bernie, Buck, Clara, Craig, Craigsrit, Craigo, Craigtall, Doggo DeLune, Emil, Funzo Surali, George, James, Jenny, John, Josh, Cat Feathers, Klaus, Crazyman1772, Michael, Milo V3, Ms. Grumpy, Moku, Mozart D Minor, Noba, Not Noctal, Other Guy, Perry, Porter, Puppeteer, Riafio, Ryan, Shane, Shaksara, Taryn, Thomas, Vortex Falcon, Weird the Craig, and Zoltan. the last one is the one that got me when I was scrolling through. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Yes, thank you all to all of them, all of you who support us. It is very cool, and we appreciate it. And I especially appreciate it because my allowance plus your support means I finally have a new computer, and it renders videos in half the time. Because I said it last time, and Chris got confused or was unsure of what I meant. I was like, yes.
Your sentence was perfectly clear. My brain just didn't understand it.
Oh, that's right. I said twice the speed, and you're like, what? It's like twice the speed, half the time. So, yes, good stuff. Thank you for your support. It means a lot. And of course, that's where the art from Brenna comes from, stuff like that. And when this arc is over, we're definitely looking at new art, some other stuff. Maybe I need to get back to figuring out custom music. So yes, if you know people who could make custom music for us, let me know. I kind of forgot about that. Anyways, speaking of forgetting, where did we leave off?
We left off with our dinner around the dining room table.
Oh, that's true. In the mansion.
After.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Somebody stole some thunder.
Indeed.
Yep. Sounds about right. Met the Tempest and the Tempestari, and one of the party, the Coven, joined them. Theo was rampant.
Yep.
And of course, the big overarching thing, of course, being that the Coven is following this shifting guidebook telling them to go places, and for some reason they feel like that's a good idea. So far, all it seems to have done is bring them heartache and frustration and challenges, but somehow they think that maybe when we get to the end, this will all be worth it. I don't know. Maybe it's more about the journey before the destination.
It's always about the journey. The destination's wonderful, but you can't get there without the journey.
I mean, we did already get cool ever-living leaf crowns, so
I'm all about life before death.
Yep.
Yep, I'm here. For that. I think you know what? Here's the lesson that we've all learned, right? Stag, lion, sage, all of this is teaching us that we must think of strength before we can.
There we go. Round it out. The third one that always gets
Occultists Anonymous don't reference Brandon Sanderson Challenge 2022 Impossible Edition.
Yep. So yes, because we are sitting at dinner, we do have a couple other things. I get to sit back and let you guys discuss, come up with stuff. I know there were some concerns about home, so that's kind of where we're at with the four of you, Rilla, Jules, and the horses, all within this. I wouldn't say it's magnificent, but it's definitely a large manor house built into the Red Rock Butte out here in, where are we, New Mexico? Or what will become New Mexico. Right now it's just Mexico.
It's just Mexico, yeah.
Or Texas. Can't remember in 1848 what that would be, so.
Yeah, I don't think it's Mexico.
Okay, we had been discussing, like, which of the Arcana we had passed through.
Mhm.
And there's like, well, which ones we had left to do? We're like, well, time. I was like, well, what if we've already done it? Perhaps.
Or we could be in the process of doing it.
Yeah. And that has caused Gisela to worry a lot because, right, how long have we been gone? And when will we be getting back? Because we told everyone we were leaving for 2 weeks. And that's not happening.
We've already been gone, what, like almost a month?
Mm-mm.
No?
It's been like a week and a half.
It hasn't been
Yeah,
that long.
right about a week and a half. I'd have to compare the
Okay.
schedule, but yeah. Actually, I can compare that while you guys chat.
So yeah, I want to ask Cloak
Mm-hmm.
if we can we check in on everyone? I'm also worried because we have a random New Yorker that we just sort of left.
He's in the care of les enfants. He will be okay. But we can look in on anyone you like. I think in order to assuage your immediate concern, it probably would be a good idea for you to confirm how much time has passed there and compare it to how much time we have gone through.
Yes, that's what I'm worried about. I want to see how they're doing.
Couldn't you just know that?
Yeah, can't you just know how long we've actually been traveling through time?
I mean, I don't think I can know how much time has passed there.
Why not ask a question of the time arcanum?
I mean, yeah, I guess I could just like do a divination to see.
I'm happy to look in on them, but I think
Yeah, I
confirming-
mostly wanted to like see my family.
That's fine. I can help you with that. But as Theo just said, and I suggested, it'd probably work for you to confirm how much time has passed first.
I mean, because
I mean, even if it's only been a week and a half, I would still like to see my family.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that desire.
out
I
of all
agree
of
to
us,
help you.
I would think you would know how much time has actually passed. But
Not
if you
like
don't know, that's a little
looking
scary.
at it all the time.
Who would you like to look in on first?
My folks.
Your family?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to need to borrow a connection you have to them. If that's okay with you.
Okay.
And where would you like to see?
Just my house. This is evening time. They should be there.
Okay. All right, so first spell is a ruling spell. Will require 1, 2, 3 reach. And I have 3.
Oh man, I had forgotten that I'd updated the little macro with the total at the bottom.
Hmm.
Convenient.
Yep.
All right, so change the site is what?
I meant that for scrying, but I forgot that I needed to cast a ruling spell to borrow connection first. So, it would be the same reach for chains of sight, but I'm going to need to cast the same thing, but to gather a connection before I cast this. So,
Sure.
I'm going to roll that twice then. And the second chains of sight is Praxis. Okay, so first, borrow connection to her father. And I'm not taking it and borrowing it.
Right.
That's why that's the full reach. And then here is scrying. So a portal opens up. Yeah. Like it does ways and portals. So we see a transparent window that they, of course, can't see through. But it has a similar appearance to the one you've seen him cast as an attainment before. Or instead of wavy lines or something like that, it's just a very, very stark demarcation between regular space and the border of the portal.
And hang on, does Scry have a potency on it? Or what's the word I'm looking for?
Its primary factor is duration.
Ah.
Oh, it does have a withstand. The
You
withstand.
mean like a yeah?
So I borrowed the strongest connection she has, I thought.
Mm-hmm. So technically, it should be like 11 dice. We're still good, but
okay,
I'm trying to
gotcha.
get back into the because you'd have to bump the potency up a little bit. But I'm trying to get back to yes, mage.
Oh
It's
yeah,
been-
she's not connected to be a strong connection, so the withstand will be 1.
Mhm.
Or I could apply a reach to change the primary factor.
Right. Regardless, I'm
And
not too worried
with
about
the-
it. Like I
with the
said,
3
Yeah,
reach on
it's
scrying
fine,
would be enough
yeah.
for it. So
Yep. no, this is just me trying to remember how to ST mage.
that makes sense to me. But the 3 reach, of course, included the sympathetic yantra. So
Right. So right, and you said you just make this as a portal in space.
yes, absolutely.
And yeah, so everybody can
I've
see
opened a way.
can see a nice good profile shot of Mr. Bauer. And as Ash pointed out, yeah, it's nighttime. Everybody should be home-ish. There is the expression of, a day's work done, food has been eaten, and, settling back into a chair on the front porch, because it is, evening in May, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember exactly.
Dang it! Actually, like days of the week.
Oh no, we're in June. Wait, that can't be right. Yeah, we're in June. Yeah, because we got to be back before the
Eclipse.
right. So actually, since we did work out that it was 9 days now, because we had 8 days of actual travel. So if you guys left on June 4th, it is now, set current date, June 13th, as far as you guys know.
Yeah. From our perspective, it's June 13th. So now that the window is there,
Mhm.
I then turn, or Cloak then turns to Gisela and says, I suggest that you attempt to know what time it is in that room.
Yeah, I like this. I don't like just using a divination and asking the GM for answers to all of my questions. That's what it feels like doing most of the time.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I like this, being able to actually see them, and then it's just like a one dot spell.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a knowing spell. You definitely don't need to write the whole thing up. You can definitely just get
Yeah,
away
I'm
with
just rolling Gnosis in time,
Yep.
and then
Yeah. The only reach you need are instant cast and remote.
Mhm.
and the shadow name. What's it say? 5? I
Mhm.
can't read. It's purple.
Oh yeah, because dark mode.
Yeah, turn
Switch
dark
it.
mode off for a sec.
Yep, 5. You got an exceptional success.
Nice.
So yes, you immediately recognize that. Well, as far as your dad's timeline goes, I guess yeah, as Ralph pointed out, you could do it on the room around you. Yes, it is in fact Saturday night. So this is a night of actual proper rest, because he does not have to get up in the morning and return to the mines, but he will get to sleep in and go to church, effectively. And yeah, with Legba controlling the scry, you can do a little bit of a pan around, and yeah, he seems to be out sitting. I imagine this is the West. He may have a pipe, and is sitting, relaxing. I think probably appropriate for conversation with some of the neighbor that they're friendly with, something similar. But it is all the telltale vibes, even without the spell of, okay, this is Saturday night for the Bauer family. Yeah, I think that's all you would immediately be able to tell and hear just from the scry, because it is focused in on him. You can hear his half of the conversations and such.
Yeah, I just want to try to see, like, everything looks fine. Everything's good and normal and fine. And can I tell that the two timelines match?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And yeah, I guess panning around, I can't really see anything else, but...
Nope.
I'm gonna assume they're fine. He looks fine.
Yeah, there's no great panic. There's no concern about, this thing, that thing. Oh, can you believe the meteors?
Shakily pouring bourbon into his tea or something.
Right, yeah. So no mention of a meteor striking the mine or anything like that.
Old Louis lost a leg yesterday. Oh, I hope it doesn't happen to me.
His luck has been good recently.
Yeah, his luck has been normal recently.
Good for him. No, he's not snorting a line of cocaine in the outhouse. Chat.
Hey now.
He doesn't have ghosts in his blood no more.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Fairies on his timeline.
Why not? Cloak says to Gisela, if you wish to see other things here, I can open other ways.
I am curious about, what's his name, Shane?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I trust that he's fine. I am just still... I feel bad that he has ended up here. And then...
Do you feel bad?
Yes.
Why?
Because he was snatched away from his life.
He chose to go back there, and some other people did things to him.
And then we brought him back here again.
I brought him back here. I doubt he regrets that I delivered him from unexpected bondage.
I mean...
We can acknowledge that he's in a better place than he was with...
Yeah, but still also...
The fact that he's lost the life that he had.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not to say we can't send him back. But right now he is on the other side of the country in a town he doesn't know without literally anyone he knows.
He does have some of the miners that he made friends with when he was here last time.
I mean, they were here for like 2 days.
After he was saved. I understand your empathy for him and concern about his well-being. I'm merely suggesting that we have no way of knowing that he won't experience good things in the future. The one thing we know is that he was likely in a challenging situation. And as a consequence of my interest in looking in after all of them, I was able to intervene.
Yes, I don't regret, feel bad about saving him. I just want to know how he's doing in the situation he's in now.
Okay, we can look in on him. But I meant my question with respect to your house. If you want to see other areas, because this is somewhat limited, we are focused on your father. If you wish to see the whole house while we are here, I can open another way for you to do so.
Sure, if we can just sort of... I guess pop through and check on everyone.
All right.
My mom, the kids.
Okay. So then Legba's going to cast again. And he's going to open up a way for he's going to look for a vantage point through the portal that's there that Gisela's father's looking at, so that it's not another sympathetic cast. And then going to cast on the area, right? He's going to cast a scry on like a wide cinematic shot for the room or something.
Interesting conundrum there. I don't have a problem with it right now, but we may come back to it because that allows for some sneaky stuff wherein you have a sympathetic connection to cast on a person and then can then use that to cast anything anywhere, even though the spell only lets you see the person, the subject of the spell clearly. There's some funkiness there. Like I said, right now it doesn't matter, but you
can do that to cast an incinerate spell on them too without a sympathetic yantra. So
right on the
subject. Reach.
Yeah, it's more that looking through the scry is only showing you them. You're not actually seeing the room around him to cast on it.
No, I know. I understand
no,
what Drew was saying. What I meant is that you can cast an area effect spell to affect the area. So it seems to me like the opportunity to see other parts of the area as a consequence of an open or maintained sympathetic connection is not the most easily exploitable fact that you can still cast a spell through. The most exploitable fact is the fact that you can cast a high reach spell and get away with needing a sympathetic yantra to do it. That's what I would be concerned about.
Okay.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, just expressing my perspective in response to the thing you just raised.
Yep.
So, okay, I will cast this again.
Would that be an additional reach?
I think I had
Remote
one
viewing.
available.
Because remote viewing is...
Yeah,
Plus
takes
one
the
on top
place
of
of the
some three.
sympathetic yantra.
but sympathetic yantra does not require reach. That is a yantra slot.
Oh, that's right. The attainment's just okay. Cool. Fair
It's
enough.
just in mana.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's instant cast, advanced duration, and
Sensory, and then remote
sensory,
viewing.
and a remote. Yeah. So cool. I also wait. No, I won't ask this question. I know the answer to it already. So the one additional reach gives me. I'm finally overreaching. So. It's 2 paradox dice, and I will spend 2 mana. Yes. That's an exceptional. And considering we get a beat automatically, I will take the mana back.
+1.
Also true. Make up for the...
The one I spent before.
And no paradox on the 6.
Awesome.
The chance die came up 6. Man, guys, I tell you what, I take off just like a couple weeks and all of a sudden the brain just fries. And this then switches into, and actually, yeah, it is a good point. We can cast the area of effect centered on Dad. I keep saying Dad. I should actually pull up Conca here. Friedrich! I always get, it's Friedrich and Dietrich, and you messed me up that way. And so now I can't ever remember which is which. And I've got Gisela and Isabel. Anyways, yes. And yeah, now we have the wide front porch kind of view. And yeah, from here, while the rest of the town is kind of at a distance because you have the 5-foot reach of the spell that you can view from. Yeah, the rest of the town seems, it's distant and kind of foggy, but nothing's on fire. General layout, it's not quite a skyline because it's a tiny little town, but everything seems about where it should be. Trying to think if there's any like real noticeable changes, but I don't believe so. Nothing that you would be able to see or hear.
Okay, well, I feel comforted. This is good. I am still a bit worried about, just timing on this, because we're not getting back when we said we would, but that's not too, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we do not know.
Yeah, we don't know what's yet to come.
As is the case with all journeys.
And are we still going to the fort? Like, are we actually doing that? Because
You have goods sitting in the back of your wagon.
yeah,
Yes, at some point.
Yeah, we kind of have to.
that was our ruse.
Because, I mean, you have stuff of your own, but you have stuff of other people's that they're expecting. There's some goods that you were needing to purchase from the fort as well.
We can get there.
Perhaps that's a time trial. Just after all is said and done, getting back when we were meant to.
It could be.
Any further looking in on Purgatory Bluff?
We're going to look in on Shane next.
Cool.
So, Book then says, Gisela, are you satisfied with what you've seen of
Yes.
your family? Okay.
Yes.
So then he drops those 2 portals. And he opens up, let's see. Trying to think of the sympathetic connections he has, and he wants to look it on Shane. He didn't give him the link.
Nope, it's in your pocket.
Yep. He took it back. So he could look in on the mine. I'm trying to think if he has a sympathetic connection to Shane. I don't know if that's formed yet.
Be
Yeah.
very
He was
unlikely.
like trying to build relationships, but it probably hasn't. So
The big one that you do have is to the actual barracks.
of course, yeah. Yeah, places where people sleep. He's been around there before. Lots of things have happened in the course of him making an impact on town. So yeah, he would probably go look on the barracks. That sounds good.
Okay. And what's
and then never
what's
mind
the
if necessary.
sympathetic yantra that you're using?
The sympathetic yantra that he'll use for the barracks.
Can you use your own connection?
You
think
can,
so.
but you always need a yantra.
Yeah.
Mechanically, it basically is a big, like, you can't use all your yantras kind of penalty because it doesn't get a bonus. But or rather,
oh,
you
you
don't
know
get to
what?
use this bonus.
So part of so he has broad dedication and profligate dedication, but he's now trying to dedicate a 3rd tool, so he'll have 3 total, and that will be the chain around his arm, which now he's trying to turn into a focus for connection, as opposed to, which, you know, he's described it that way, but the experience with the tigers was a way for him to exhaust that prevailing connection it had to violence. So, in a shift away from how he's thought about things before, all these interlinks represent this big chain he's trying to develop and this network of connections he has to all kinds of things. So, if that's okay with you, in this case, it would serve as a physical representation of that.
I mean, I don't mind that being a yantra in that purpose, but as a sympathetic yantra,
Mhm.
is there a connection between the chain as a representation of the barracks?
Okay, I guess not. Perhaps I'm a little confused about what kind of yantra you want to be in place, considering that I have broad dedication and I can, you know. Oh wait, no, that's only dedicated tools. Sorry.
I was
Let
going
me
to
phrase
say,
this
but
question.
you keep
Let me-
bringing that up.
No, let me phrase, because I'm thinking of this differently.
Sure.
I will be more explicit with what I'm thinking and why I'm confused
Mhm.
about what you're requesting, which is these yantra slots are in a way a metagame aspect, right?
Mhm.
They have a function and representation in the game, and then they also have a specific mechanical function. And I'm trying to confirm what mechanical satisfaction you want me to provide, because the in-game, I think yantra would be the connection I have, right?
Sympathetic
No.
yantras are very specifically a material, representational, or symbolic. The only thing that can be used is a sympathetic yantra, in order to use the sympathetic range. So it has to be a material, representational, or symbolic. And so are you suggesting... Okay, so you're suggesting that the chain represents a sympathetic yantra to the chain represents... Well, I guess it represents the... Go ahead.
We've now touched on basically what I'm asking is what you expect to be finite examples, or distinct examples of symbols and representation of things, considering that they aren't necessarily tangible objects.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically the question I'm asking. It's like, because Cloak thinks of things, what he's trying to go to is that physical objects are a constraint on how you think of things, right? They aid us, but in reality, the yantras, the representational aspects of spells are something in our minds and something in our souls, right? So basically, I'm asking you, is like how is he supposed to satisfy that expectation that you have in terms of...
And let me clarify, because I'm fine with this being a symbolic one, similar to you don't have to like a oh my gosh, brain, sympathetic name is a symbolic thing. So
fantastic, yeah.
The chain being representation as a literal representational, because the chain has no appearance, it doesn't represent a barracks or even that specific barracks, and that's what I'm trying to... I asked this question for fluff purposes.
What was that?
The chain's a very good representation of your connection to the cult.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm asking this primarily for the fluff, because how getting to Friedrich from, I mean, his name. That one's easy.
Right.
But to a barracks, a building, what do you use there? Because, I mean, for instance, back to London, you have a brick.
Yeah.
Like, we have a very clear thing. So what would you use for the barracks itself?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, and I enjoy having conversations like this. It was like trying to disentangle to make sure I understood what specifically you were asking, considering that in this particular case, right, with an imago, imago has like it's very obvious what we're talking about, right? But with a yantra, sometimes there's like a mechanical and there is an abstract aspect that we're talking about. Sure. So I'm glad to know it was the latter you were asking for more detail on. So yeah, he's trying to think of the chain around his arm as the new life he has, the new relationships, the new places, as opposed to what it represented for him in the past, which was a way that he could control others and control his circumstances.
Gotcha. So it is a symbol of the cult. Yeah, love that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And yeah, I don't see any reason it wouldn't be the same 13 dice.
Okay, cool. All right.
Sure.
Exceptional.
Now, we only get the beat once per chapter, or scene. Once per scene. But it does at least refund the mana.
Cool.
For those of you out there who are also thinking about space, Scry as a praxis is a really, really good one. So yes, restored the mana, gained another back, and we get that like security camera in the corner view, looking out at the barracks, not able to see into. Everybody else is not able to see into like Messi J and Sonny Tay's rooms, but with Inward Outward Eye, able to perceive that as well. And the room is as it always is. Actually, I guess Saturday night probably is the only night where you have more people sleeping, because nobody has to necessarily be up for that third shift in the middle of the night. So yeah, there's at this point now a lot more people sleeping. Though there are some folks who are kind of sitting awake. I imagine that there's like not quite a lounge, but like there's a couple tables, or maybe even just a space where folks can sit, play cards, talk amongst themselves without necessarily being out. And there may even be a door open or something like that. But it has that similar Saturday night kind of relaxed feel. And for the most part, it seems to be entirely members of the cult. You do not see Shane. But everybody else seems content. Like I said, most people are sleeping or, talking quietly. I imagine Sanite is probably up and about while Messy J may be sleeping, whichever. But overall, everything seems calm and relaxed.
All right. I think this is the first time we're going to see on screen something I'm going to do with Sanite. But I think you and I have discussed that it's happened before. So he reaches out to Sanite with his second attainment for telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
And says, Sanite. Oh, no. He says, Mambo Etoile.
This is a definite, the connection is made, and there's this silence and a Papa Legba?
Yes.
So I imagine that Legba's telepathic voice may not sound like his actual physical voice, right? And I imagine there's the shadow name to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different tenor. He is more deliberately amenable than Cloak. So there's a smoothness. There's an almost implied desire to have pleasant conversation. And I imagine she calls him Legba as opposed to Papa. Well, maybe, I know actually, as a Mambo, why not? He says he's Legba. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. Great. So he says, yes, I trust everything is well with your charges.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't be. I was going to get a very military vibe, but no, probably not. No. Much more. No, this is. Well, excuse me. Switching the question. Yes, everything is well. It is Saturday night. Things are quiet. The mine is quiet.
That is good. And you are good to them.
I
wish to know about the man who was delivered into your arms.
Shane?
Yes. Is he well?
Did you not take him?
No, I did not.
Craig?
Into that.
I will see if he is still in town then.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know that she necessarily... I don't think she actually responds to a thank you. I think, especially from your scry, you can see her, getting up from her room, little desk or whatever, and, going and finding people. And I guess, with telepathy, you may get little snippets of thought as she's, has a couple conversations with some of the more outgoing members of the cult who get up, and there's a quick conversation. Shane, what? Missing? I haven't seen him. And he watches a couple people get up and walk out and head down to, the saloon, the bar, the whatever we want to call it today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess technically all you see is them leaving, but yeah.
Yeah. And he says, I will contact you again soon.
Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, I think that's all. Okay, definitely I'm working on something now.
Yeah.
kind of
Cool.
expression
Great.
to her.
Sounds good. Okay, so I terminate the scry. And I say, Sanite does not know where Shane is.
That's a complication.
Yeah. And he doesn't have or we don't have any way to reach him directly anymore, right?
No.
Unless he left some clothes or something.
Oh, wait. No,
Maybe.
wait, sorry. All right, wait, hold on. Like, Cloak says, I have his name. That is enough.
Oh, yeah, right.
Is it?
Is it really his name?
I don't know.
Well, and specifically, do you have a connection?
Hmm.
You have the sympathetic yantra.
Okay.
Gotta have both.
All right.
Are you telling me that someone has been disappeared out of our town?
We don't know that. We'll know more soon. All we know is Sanite does not know where he is right now, which means he could be drunk somewhere.
You don't mention that I thought he was with you, but
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. She seemed to think that I had taken him. But I did
Maybe
not
he-
ask for more detail about that.
Maybe he went to the crossroads?
He could have.
Oh, he left last
you
time.
have
That's
been
true.
lost him.
If I had taken a lock of hair.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, if he had left, if there was anything at the barracks of his that could be used.
This is where like that's the Rolodex, except it's the identity cards. It's all like pieces of skin or blood or hair.
Chat brought it up. Yep,
Yikes.
absolutely. Bastigos get a collection, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, so, folks says, we'll know more soon. We can't do anything
Yes.
until then.
Till we get more information. And then we're still occupied. So,
Unless you don't want to be. Unless you want to turn back.
I am here to be Patricor, not Sheriff Isabel.
Does anyone else wish to look in on someone?
Yeah, but I wanted to give it a try myself.
Ah.
Explain,
do with your
Craig.
rampant condition.
As I look over at your Arcana and I'm going, yeah.
You're going to do what we discussed before, aren't you?
I'm going to give it a try.
That's wonderful.
Roll resolve plus composure.
Well, before she's going to get some shut-eye or whatever, but do you guys need me for anything? You got everything you need here? Furniture-wise and stuff?
no, you've done an incredible job with the place.
All right.
Yeah, Rilla and Jules
Um,
have like already picked out the rooms.
Yeah, we welcome the idea of you taking a rest, Baba Sitter.
You should rest, yes.
So she's going to go over to a clear spot on the floor and kind of lie down with her hands over her chest and then kind of just sink into the ground.
Yes!
Okay.
Inter herself. Fucking great.
She
That is
doesn't
the
cover
best.
it.
Does she need to breathe?
Yes. Currently.
She'll make some
Come on, you can make
space
holes.
for herself, but yeah. I was trying to think if I could like get a chemical reaction going to create like an oxygen generator, but I don't know if I would have all the stuff I need to do that here.
That's pretty cool.
Or
I mean,
the
you can use
idea-
it. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm resolving composure.
Mm-hmm. Unless I'm mistaken. Ralph?
That's right.
Yeah. And she's got tons of composure now.
Oh, yeah. Pulling it up.
Can't remember what her resolve is at. We'll find out shortly. 3. Okay. So, not an exceptional, so it does take you that hour.
Mhm.
And then you begin your path into the astral, do you stop off at Euroneros or do you head straight into the Temenos?
She's on a mission and rampant, so she's right to the Temenos.
Okay. And where in the Temenos are you trying to stop off?
I'm trying to stop off at like Frontier Town, USA.
Sure.
As conceptually as something that's fairly close to where.
You had to take a left at Yeehaw to get there.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah.
Isn't it St. Louis, basically?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Arch isn't there yet, but yep. So yeah, step into the concept of the frontier. And so 100%, waves of grain, the Rocky Mountains off in the distance is kind of a backdrop, no matter which direction you look. And so it almost has a bowl kind of feel. And you can see little homesteads out in the distance, little plumes of smoke coming out of chimneys. You have little towns that you can see just because the whole place stretches and just impossibly you can kind of see it all, but it's all also just so far out. Yeah.
Although and I'm kind of leaning on a book series I read a while ago. These folks that could travel to different realms, and the way they did that was they sort of made their surroundings, imagined their surroundings more and more like where they wanted to go.
Oh, cool.
So I'm just sort of walking through the prairie and I'm passing farmsteads. And as I'm passing a farmstead, it's getting more and more like Theo's home in Purgatory Bluff.
Mm.
Okay, sure.
Until she ends up one that's identical.
Right. Well, yeah. So your journey, especially considering I can see no reason why you would come across anybody that would bar your travel, goes from the frontier and towards Purgatory Bluff and its actual Temenic representation, where you pass by and are greeted by quite a few dogs that watch you but recognize you as friendly, and a member of Purgatory Bluff, but you don't actually bother even going in and try to find that connection out to the farms out there. And as you get out here, especially as you leave Purgatory Bluff itself, the Temenic representation of this area is very thin. It's almost I'm going to say ghostly to the Moros, but I don't actually mean ghostly.
I'm imagining, the fields and stuff would be indistinct, but there would be clusters of clarity around people's homes and things.
Right. Very, yeah. And even that is kind of temperamental because, save for maybe some of the older homes, but specifically Theo's home is very... We'll just keep on it. Wraith-like. You can see almost right through it. It's not like it's even fully there, just because it's only been here for a year, right?
And it also feels pretty new to everybody in there.
Right.
And yeah.
And it does look. Imagine the field has been plowed, but there's nothing planted. It's like everyone thinks of it as still new and fresh, and nobody's really done anything with it. But yeah, you can find that Temenic representation of your home. Imagine the cart, wherever you guys have actually done with it, is probably still parked really close out front, because people think of that, of you having moved from the cart.
All right, so looking for Catherine. And just based on the conversation I had with I'm imagining the gateway into Catherine will be her Temenic representation.
Right. And there's definitely no Temenic representation of your family. There are actors here, in the fact that there's a indistinct kind of family that lives here, but
because it's not just our impression,
right?
It's everybody's impression.
And so it's a vague family. People don't talk about Catherine and Theo and Balosia and Rilla, right? There's just vaguely a couple women here, and the number kind of shifts and their ages kind of shift. People know of you, but they don't, you haven't made that spot. I think probably maybe Madam Theodosia, right, has a little bit of a stronger representation because of the interaction with both the farm and Purgatory Bluff, and kind of represented more as archetype than actually herself. But now, out of character, what you really have to do to make this happen is catch her as she's bumping into and stepping into the Temenos while dreaming or thinking really strong on something. Now, whether or not Babasera actually catches that, that's okay.
Yeah, I figured that she wouldn't, if she wasn't here, that's because she's not sleeping or dreaming or something. So came here prepared to lurk for a while until...
Gotcha.
And not like intentionally lurking, just sort of a reflex. Will lurk there until she can see something change that might represent her moving through the Temenos in the dream or something.
There might also be that Theo might remember from what happened before she was Babasera, when we went into Isabel's mind without a mind spell, where we drifted across. We took a ship across the Sea of Connection as Legba saw it. So we went from Oneros to Oneros, assuming that she'd be thinking of the same thing. And when Cloak reached Theo that way, that's what he did. He didn't go into the Temenos. He was just in the Oneros and then tried to reach someone directly, assuming that they were thinking about the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know that Theo would put that together. To her mind, to her mind, it's different realities, and you have to sort of bridge through the Temenos to get there conceptually for her.
Yeah,
I love
not disagreeing with it.
She'll give it a shot.
Makes sense to me.
Prepared to wait for a while.
Yeah, that sounds good.
While Babasera is sunk within her tomb, and Jules and Rilla staring at the couple little air holes that have been drilled into the floor, look over at the rest of the group and go, well, I think Rilla specifically says, we need to talk to her when she wakes up.
About what?
Her
just pointing at the whole room. Yeah.
Her rampant use of magic. It is unusual. Using magic, Rilla's like, that's fine. It is a concern that her behavior has changed so suddenly. So I just want to make sure that she's...
Why does that concern you?
Any sudden change in behavior without any obvious reason concerns me. Concerned of either outside influence or, well, as mages, internal influence. Actually, that's true. From Rilla's perspective, Craig, has Theo talked to Rilla about her daemon being a power-hungry madwoman?
Not in so many words, but when the topic comes up, like, Theo is a little embarrassed and changes subjects, and so there's obviously some sort of tension for Theo
and her daemon. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Rilla's kind of working off of that concept.
Well, I would encourage you to recognize that sometimes a change in behavior is a consequence of people deciding that they no longer want to dissemble.
She nods. Absolutely. That's why I will speak with her. But yeah, Rilla definitely looks concerned about her kind of adopted mom. It's like, what's going on in there? Though I guess, because Theo's not all that much older than Rilla, so yeah, older sister, more than mom. But while while Sarah's in her crypt. What is everybody else up to, if anything?
I'd like to ask you a question, Drew.
Sure.
I now remember, this is me speaking out of character, of course. I now remember that Cloak cast a spell on Shane.
What spell is that?
I was evaluating his memories.
Ah, yes. So there's
Is it still active?
The spell's
The
not
spell
active.
isn't active, so it's merely a question of, hey, is my Nimbus still present on him?
And that.
Or
I
is
can-
Cloak's Nimbus still present? And you can determine that. So that's
Do you
why
have a
I need to
connection
ask
to your
the question.
Nimbus or to your spells? Oh, it was to your spells.
You have a weak connection to the subjects of spells, I believe. I'm looking up. Subjects of a mage's spells. Yes. So you would have a weak connection.
Okay,
Would the Nimbus still be there after 8
Oh,
days?
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would.
that's
yeah.
the question I'm asking.
Yeah.
So-
So let me double back.
How long does the Nimbus hang around?
Right. Because items marked
About
with a mage's signature nimbus is actually a medium connection. So yeah, that's very true. Brain, where's this section? There we are. The Awakening, Nimbus, because yeah, I don't think it will have hung around because I think High Wisdom reduces the effect of long-term Nimbus.
That's right. So I know it says it determines if
Gnosis
your Nimbus sticks
is-
around longer.
Right.
And its Gnosis is above 5. Or you have merits that make it last longer.
Right.
There's a small bit of ambiguity about how long it normally lasts.
It lasts for a week.
Okay.
However, the bonus dice afforded fade 1 per week. Then it fades a week later. So you do not
Yeah,
have.
that's an implication that by default it lasts a week, but I wanted to ask you.
Yep.
So
So, and as we've determined, it has been 9 days since you left. So yes, the signature Nimbus has passed.
okay, gotcha.
A good idea, but we maybe waited a little too late.
Do you sell this whole separate thing? Blah 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 blah. That's longer. Yeah. Okay. So the connection to your chain bits was measured in months. So
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's still there.
And then Chris, almost said
I
something.
have other things I can do, but I'm going to wait.
Cool. We're right at the normally what would be the halfway point. Well, actually no. We'll go ahead and finish resolving this night then. So yeah, Ralph, if Cloak did have something you wanted to try tonight, we can definitely do that.
Yeah. He's going to scry and then ritual cast large scale locate object with a conjunctional mind to determine if Shane is present.
Sure.
Or space, mind or space, whoever.
Yeah, and I mean I'm
Actually,
fine
what-
with
conjunctional space.
object being Shane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
so-
Great. Just want to see if Shane's in the town as large of an area he can make it.
Yeah, which
And he'll
campus
just take
definitely
something.
fits the town.
Yeah.
So roll that up, and
Cool.
while you're doing that, Craig, Theodosia will spend potentially hours here without seeing her. So my question is there a point at which she stops and changes, or
No, composure 5. She's prepared to sit for quite some time.
okay?
Mhm.
I see you, chat. Behave yourself. Yeah. So well, actually, I guess it's the Can a body rest and fall asleep while in the astral?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's your mind that's kind of gone wandering. I don't know that you would necessarily get a willpower back because your mind is quite active, but
For a similar ruling, changelings do not get willpower if they do dreaming stuff at night.
Mm.
love that. And it's only costing Craig 1 willpower.
Yeah.
Craig is made of willpower now. Cool.
I need. Let's read.
So scale -10.
Yep.
This might actually be a tough-ish spell.
Yeah, I'm gonna spin a willpower.
Yep.
I should be able to do it. Because I have 4 dots in space, so I'm gonna have to do scale. Sorry. I'm ritual casting it. So scale change primary factor and sensory range.
And remote.
Oh, that's right. Through the view. Yeah. Remote 4. Yep. Cool. And then potency increase will be -6.
Potency.
Oh, sorry.
Scale.
Sorry. Scale increase is -6.
Wait, -6?
Because oh wait, no, it's going to be less than that actually. Oh fuck, that's right. The very specific. I made it clear that there are only 2 primary factors are potency and duration. So if you want to increase scale, you're never going to get a rebate based on the dots you have in your arcanum. Okay,
Right.
that's right. So it's always going to be -10. Never mind.
That would be a cool alternate space attainment, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
to replace sympathetic casting.
Mm-hmm.
You can
would
make
be
your-
sweet.
Just make your spells fucking big.
Yeah.
I think is it the
That would be
4
cool.
dot one for
Yeah, the
space?
4 dot you get advanced scale for
For
1
mana.
mana instead of a reach.
Yep.
Yeah, which I would be doing right now in order to avoid overreaching if I had overreached. Okay, -10. I don't need to increase duration or potency, so. And Yantra is going to be is that.
Because, and yeah, since you did bring up the broad dedication, you are effectively using what 3 yantras every time?
Yeah.
This is going to be the chain.
Yep, chain, shadow name, and high speech.
Okay. So,
And as you observed, he's being very deliberate about which spells he's casting.
Right.
Because I recognize out of character that in order to invoke these yantras, it has to be a spell where it applies. So,
Right.
Yeah. So for the month, probably not going to be casting willy-nilly. Not that he would, but got to keep it honest. All right, cool.
Use Willy.
he's in fact using a willow.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Cool.
Alrighty. Cool. Roll it up. And I will roll the scry, if you like.
Yep.
First.
I'm fine with
So
those
that's
same 13.
That's the locate out. Cool. Great. That's
Cool.
Exceptional success.
Get the mana back.
Awesome.
And then a little bit of overreach. And you're casting this ritually. Not that that matters about overreach.
Where's the
Are you
overreach?
spending mana on? Free reach.
That's
Sorry, I
not
read that
overreach.
incorrectly. Please carry on and roll your 7 dice.
All right, cool. Yep. That's why I said I would have spent a mana
Right.
to eliminate advanced scale so that I could
Also
avoid
true.
overreaching if I had. So, all right, roll 7 and a succeed.
Cool.
Just need to know, yes or no.
There's no shame.
Cool, great. So he'll then spend a mana to, because he's not going to scry on sanity again. He's going to spend a mana to use his attainment to telepathically connect Sanite. And we don't need to have an extended conversation. Just let her know Shane's not in town. I've determined it myself. I will look for him elsewhere. If you have any information, I'd be happy to know. Otherwise, don't worry about it. That's the gist of what he says.
Yeah, and her conversation, her half the conversation is she has people looking, but has not heard back.
Cool, great.
Because they're not only looking but also asking questions and doing the normal sneak
Excellent.
around kind of stuff.
Detective.
Yes.
So he'll say, if you find any of his things, keep them with you.
Okay, I can
Great.
do that.
Or he'll say, please, please keep them with you. So
Cool.
that's that. Alrighty.
And with that, we will go on our quick break. And unless anybody has any, we're going to have a conversation with Theo when she rises from her grave. But then I believe we will carry on with our journey into the book.
Hell yeah.
Something,
See y'all
reading
soon.
rainbow. Twitch guys, please go out and touch grass, jumping jacks, whatever. YouTube guys, don't blink. Night passes into morning. Everybody regains a willpower point except for Miss Theodosia.
Mhm.
And sensing, especially since Theodosia doesn't probably come out of her crypt all evening and such, Rilla is over here with, the fire.
I just see Willa like staring at the crypt, like waiting to talk.
Yeah.
Like, like way in the early morning when Isabel wakes up and sees Rilla like just sort of hovering over this. I made sure she was breathing all night.
Okay, thank you. If still have some concerns, but at least physically, she's okay. Oh, I should note, the rain has slowed, but it is
You know
still
what that means.
rainy outside.
We should consult the book. Is it like in?
I imagine Theo's
Is
got it in
on
her bag.
Theo,
Yeah.
or like is it in her things?
It is also in my mind.
Well,
It changes.
The first translation was.
I know.
But that would be an
I know.
interesting thing to check, actually.
Yeah, actually, to see if what's in your head
Imprinted in your
matches what you
mind.
see.
Yeah.
Mhm. I
Has
think we
been
did check
updated.
at one point.
Isabel
So-
goes outside to essentially watch the storm.
Cool.
Yep.
Is it leaving or is it just slow? It's
Yes,
not as intense.
it does seem to be continuing eastward, and compared to yesterday, especially, it is a little more toned down, but it is still a pretty heavy rainstorm, if not necessarily a thunderstorm, right?
Isabel stands there very patiently with her hands out, cupped, until she has enough to drink.
Mm.
And knowledge of the prescribed weather for the day flows into her mind.
Cool.
Legacy attainment flex,
Awesome.
which for this area, yeah, it's gonna be rainy.
Well, a reminder that the attainment is the natural course of the weather for the day. It's essentially a magic weather bullshit detector
Right.
on top of getting yourself prepared for the day.
What would it be at this point? Yeah, actually, I think it's sipping on your rainwater and be like, man, it's going to be another scorcher. Is the flavor of rainwater you drink now? It's like, nope.
This is some arid water.
Yes. But yeah, it is definitely supposed to be, unsurprisingly, hot. It is June in the desert. Theodosia eventually rises from the dead.
Punk.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe.
Any luck? No?
All through the night? No.
All right.
Yeah.
Something I forgot to do
So
tonight.
rises up and then like immediately, I got to do something, and goes ahead outside.
Rilla's like, oh, what? And Rilla's bullshit meter has been reached, which for the past year, most of you have not seen this.
Okay.
Maybe Gisela and maybe Theo has seen it, especially in relation to how Rilla treats the children, especially the older ones, right? It's like, listen, done. She grabs hold of your arm. It's not a pull. It's just like, I am now an additional weight kind of thing. And she looks and she says, Theodosia, you need to eat, and then we need to talk. I am concerned about you.
Can we walk and talk?
Can you walk and eat?
Sure. And she'll just like grab a hunk of bread or something and head towards the front of the cave.
Sure. Are you feeling well?
I feel great. And she's kind of stopped in the light rain, and she was kind of looking at the horses and the wagon.
Which, in my head, has been brought into the magnificent cavern that you guys have.
At least under the shelf, right?
Right.
Definitely didn't leave the horses outside in the rain.
No. Are you sure you are feeling well?
Oh, yeah.
Are you feeling your normal self?
I feel better than I have in a while.
And you're okay with this?
Yeah. Do you think I should just make the wagon self-driving, or should we kill the horses and animate them?
All right, Chris. Is Isabel in earshot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Y'all have fun.
Did I overhear this? Because those aren't your horses.
Right.
Borrowed them
Sarah.
from my boss.
Baba Sarah.
Oh, hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please
it
refrain
morning?
from
Yes. Morning.
extinguishing the life unnecessarily of our horses.
It just occurred to me that we're carrying a lot of feed for them, and if we didn't have to feed them. But I can always just make the wagon self-driving, and then we wouldn't need the horses anymore. And then Legba could just send them back, right?
We don't need to do any of that.
Well, I suppose not, but we don't have to carry all this extra food and water for the horses.
Have you
either.
taken to heart the lion and the stag?
You have to refresh my memory a little bit.
I think Rilla steps up, teacher's pet, and goes. Actually, yeah, I think she says the title. She says the title. I think you've gone a bit rampant, Theo. Do you see that?
But it does. Don't you want to sometimes just see what you can do and do it?
Sometimes, yes. But that does not mean that we need to and must always.
No, but if you don't do things, if you don't try things out, then how do you know what you can actually do?
Because I make modest decisions on when to apply my strength and power.
Well, why do we hold it back?
For our wisdom.
And what is that? How is that an advantage?
Trying to think from Rilla's perspective. Anybody else, feel free to jump in as well, because it sounds like most everybody is within
this
reach.
is something Cloak cares about. So
It
This
works.
is absolutely Cloak's.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
I think Rilla just shuts up and looks over at
Can I
Cloak.
jump in for you?
we're just go ahead.
Without going into what I'm sure will be an exquisite lecture from Legba if he just overheard what you said. Wisdom is what allows us to be mages and yet still human. Now, if you don't want to sleep through the next leg of this journey, I suggest you sort your shit out. Because Rilla just tried to do this nicely. You are not yourself, and you are not acting as a member of this coven should.
I'm trying to understand what's the benefit in holding ourselves back all the time. Why do we go through life with one arm tied behind our back all the time? Why do we limit ourselves? Why do we stop ourselves from doing what we can do?
Baba Sarah. And Cloak walks over. Says, Bachikor has already told you, but you're not listening. I'll make it operative and simple. This is Cloak speaking, not Legba, right? He says, you three have acted in ways that I consider objectionable and often juvenile. If I had not chosen the path of wisdom, I would have decapitated the three of you with my chain long ago. It is not a threat. You've seen what I did to those tigers. It is not a suggestion of your weakness. It is a statement about what happens when you have power and you wield it without control. I know what happens. It is up to you to decide if it's worth it to you to avoid those errors.
Look around at the place we stayed last night. Does this look like it's not in control?
Rilla,
It's excessive and flashy. Unnecessarily so.
and Rilla says the concern is not this right now, but it's what happens if you continue this path. And my friend Theodosia disappears, and all that's left is a shell wielding her power.
Did you not suffer a nightmare of the end of this path not 2 nights ago?
And she's not talking, but you can see that hit home. I think I need to go for a walk.
Enjoy the bright, beautiful, sunny day that we're having.
Just kind of look sideways at you, huh?
That's the weather report for today.
Which, without
to
any
be sunny.
context, everyone
Yeah,
is
without
like,
any context, we're just like, what the?
it's like, okay, we need to add petrichor to the concern list. But Rilla links arms
I
with
get all
you.
the news I need in the weather report.
Rilla links arms with Theo and walks, and a note just to make sure it's clear. She continues to refer to you as Theo and not Baba Sarah, because Baba Sarah does not
Fuck
care
off,
about
yeah.
Valosia. Theo cares about Valosia. Theo cares about Catherine. So
That makes sense.
they walk in the light rain, and then Rilla's like, wait, I'm not going to deal with this, and obscures you both from being rained on. And Ralph, what was the thing that you needed to do?
I forgot that Cloak was going to go out in the night and try and observe the storm.
Oh, that's right. I saw that on your
Yeah.
aspirations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't need to see it in the sunlight. And he wanted to
before
just
we
stand
jump
there and
back-
look at it for a while. Go ahead.
Before we jump back to that, at the tail end of that scene, Isabella just like saunters like back towards the cave, like towards Legba, and just sort of like gives you a friendly like clap on the back.
Cool.
It's like
Teamwork.
how does she phrase it? Perhaps one day, in a safe measure, we should find out which of us would actually triumph over the other.
Cocks his head and says, I have no interest.
But I do. You matter-of-factly stated that you would decapitate me.
You would not have been able to see me if I had gone the true extent of the path that Theo is walking on. It was not a statement of, and I said this explicitly, not a statement of weakness or comparison. It was a statement of the choice I would have made when I had an opportunity. And I know, and then he's actually staying straight up, like, as a person who did this to people repeatedly, that I wouldn't bat an eye at the consequences. When I say things like this, and you consider it to be an opportunity to, or if I say something like this, you have a choice to consider it to be an assertion of my perspective on you, as opposed to an assertion of the kinds of decisions I would have made. I meant it entirely in the latter. Hence why I have no interest.
I know what you meant. I don't think that you challenged me by your actions, by what you have said. You have merely put into my head the idea of the challenge, and that is what entices me.
Ah.
I'm not responding to a threat. I'm responding to something that sounds like fun.
Oh. What was
Best
that?
egos? Theosis.
Yeah. If you mean it as an opportunity for us to understand each other more through adversity and camaraderie, then I am interested.
And I love the absolute and very in character, like, tonal switch of, oh yeah, you want to wrestle? All right, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'd phrased it in a safe manner.
Mm-hmm. No, I
it's
totally
supposed to convey
it.
that at the beginning, right?
Just from our perspective, the safe manner that Isabel uses is often very predator.
Oh, the safe manner is like
yeah.
with a potency 10 body control on, so that you're healing a lethal turn.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
It's not like blunted weapons or anything. It's like, I'm going to shoot you. You'll be fine in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Meanwhile...
And so, out of character, I knew where you were going with this, but of course, Cloak is super literal, right? So...
Oh, and bear in mind, Jules and actually potentially Gisela are both here going... Because I imagine Jules and Gisela both understand exactly who it's like, oh, we know where this is going to go. Yep. Okay, there we go.
Just waiting for them to get on the same page.
Yep. And to cut back, Ralph, to your attempts to view into the Tempest, I will tell you, spending some scry, and especially with the inward-outward eye, being able to see past things, you cannot, and it may frustrate Cloak and perhaps Legba, that you cannot see up through or into the center of the Tempest. There's a point where I imagine it feels, I would say artificial, where there is a wall that you just cannot get past.
All right. How does he perceive that wall? As a kind of spatial distortion that prevents viewing? Or some kind of aspect of the storm that means that no one can perceive it, right? Like, how would he understand it?
That's a good question. Actually, yes, it is flat out concealed from observation. To dial back, to give the more meta thing, the Tempest and its core, right, the spirit that is within, and the city that is atop it, there at the center of the storm, is basically obfuscated from observation, both via sympathy and just direct spells.
Plus, they've got a god of the spirit realm.
That would be the why of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So I was trying to figure out how Cloak would experience that, considering he has no spirit, right?
Right.
Because he can't know it.
Mhm.
Right.
If he had one dot of spirit, he could probably know. Oh, okay, that's the element of it. That's making it really challenging.
Actually,
But,
from the
It does have prime,
Mastigos, from the Mastigos and Legba's personal look at magic, I imagine that basically it's looking in on and seeing a just absolute tight tangle of chains, not surrounding it,
okay.
but just this ununderstandable tangle. It's like you don't even know where to begin to grab and start pulling out this knot.
And when you do, something swats your hand away.
Yeah, quite possibly. But it's just like, because you don't see any chains that extend out beyond it. It's just this ball of chain that seems linked on itself. And no matter what way you tug anything, none of it gives.
Okay, that works for me. If anybody has ever knotted up a chain accidentally, I know what that's like. So I'm imagining that, and then as if someone severed the links on either side. So
Right. It's just a hole. Mm-hmm.
you're not getting that. You're not getting that out because that's done.
Did you find out anything last night?
I found out that if I want to know more about what's going on with that storm, I'm going to need to use means other than what I'm used to.
You could just ask.
Well, you told us a lot of information. I was merely trying to understand how much area this covers, if it connects to other places, how it might influence the people it travels over. Not who's there.
Actions that the storm doesn't care for. Care about, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. I think there's a lot you can tell me about it. But I needed to ask those questions first before I was ready to ask others of you.
Also a matter of perspective.
And because Isabel's kind of petty, she's enjoying him finding out that he got stumped. Trying to find out more about the Tempest, right?
So, just to make it clear out of character, is there no scrutiny that can be performed with mind or space on the Tempest?
You were talking, I think that maybe the other aspect is that the opacity is ridiculous.
Cool. Okay. Thanks.
And may actually
I figured the
because I understood the
Tempest
function other than that, but I wanted to make sure that was clear.
The Tempest itself is probably having Archmage level clash of wills.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But
Just with
I do
regard to
think that
simple
is also
scrutiny,
the other thing that you pick up, especially with the space thing. Is like, I can view this. I can at least get the measure. I have no idea how wide this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What can I know about this? What can I see?
And it all comes back at not applicable. What do you mean not applicable? It is a place. It is a thing. It should have some kind of width. Nah.
Just looking at it, you should tell how far the clouds are away. But that's that fundamental piece of information that's just part of your Mage site. Don't even pick that up.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
What's the
That's where I'm going with
what's
this.
the movie?
What are the things that aren't working?
Yeah.
So.
What's the movie? The Core. It's like what is static? I don't know what is static. It's empty here. Oh shit! Love that
movie,
bit.
That movie rips ass.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
So there's so many good actors
so
in there, and it just tanked in the block. But I will watch it every time it's on TV.
Absolutely. Nuke in it to fucking restart it.
Yeah,
Hell
we're gonna nuke the core to restart
like the fucking most American science that's ever been done.
Good stuff. Oh yes.
So we'll tie that off though. In response to Petrichor, Isabel offering, some information, at least teasing it. Cloak muses a little bit and then says, I will have some questions later.
I haven't been sworn to secrecy or anything, so I'm happy to share.
Abigail is going to be so mad at you. No. You told him what secrets?
Much of my time in Purgatory Bluff is spent telling stories to people of things they will never see.
I'm happy you're willing to do the same for me.
But you guys converse a bit about that, and jumping out to Rilla and Theo, walking in the not quite rain. And yeah, Rilla is a quiet companion, and a metaphorical anchor to reality. It's like, hang on, because her concern is, especially when Theo says, or Baba Sarah says, I'm going to go on a walk, is like, and then she walked and never came back. Then she went off to make her necropolis.
And so she's definitely like angry as she's walking, like the ground pissed her off particularly today. So stomp as she's
Right.
making her way through the rain and kind of cursing under her breath, and keeps on referring to her like that bitch. And I didn't let my guard down for a second. And when she's out of earshot of the cave, she's like, okay, I need to fix this. And then sees Rilla. Oh, did you follow me?
Like as she's hanging on to your arm. Yes.
All right, well, let's have a look at my pattern.
It's a little funny.
Yeah. So we'll do some scrubbing.
Excising.
Yeah. So are you taking damage to a stat or lethal damage?
I will take a damage to presence.
Physical stat.
Oh, gotta be physical. I will take damage to strength.
Okay. Which puts it down to 1?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so...
If it's 1 dot that I'm taking damage, yeah.
And so there's a little, weakness to you a little bit, and Rilla kind of bolsters you. And you definitely get the vibes that she's got Mage Sight on, and probably has. Well, especially because the spell is still active, so she's been making ample use of her lots of Mage Sight. And
Awesome.
Kind of nods and kind of sees that effect kind of coming off of you and that bit of weakness, and she kind of holds you up a little bit, supportive, and she says, and then kind of looks back to the cave, kind of makes an expression, goes, so which one was that bitch? Because she's pretty certain it's not anybody in the Coven that did anything.
Have you met your daemon?
No. It is a definite, like, she's not ready for that yet.
So the way I understand it, daemons are sort of like can be like an overbearing sibling. They basically have your best interests at heart, but they have no problem kicking your ass to remind you that you're not the only one driving the ship. Or the wagon, as the case may be. And the daemon's like part of you, but also distinct and separate. And my daemon and I don't get along very well. And it's aspects of me, of who I am, and things that I really want to do and how I see the world, but I make choices that go against those urges.
So Petrichor was right. Your nightmare.
Yeah. The nightmare it's very real for me. I know it was just a warning, or supposed to be, but it seemed very prophetic for me because my daemon wants me to take life by the horns and just run rampant and rule everything, and why hold myself back, and why should I be subject to other people's restrictions? But the conscious choice that I make is that I don't want to be a tyrant. I don't want to impose my will on others because that's the life that my mother lived. And I know the damage it does to people, to the spirit, to the soul. So I, despite my urges and desires to burn down the establishment, to make the rich poor by giving their money to the poor, and just upending society, those are things that I really want to do, but I instead choose to not become a tyrant.
That's tough. Sounds like you are avoiding being ruled by others, but also by yourself.
Yeah. We've worked out an arrangement so far. We'll see how it lasts, but I have to be careful because, I mean, she is me. She's parts of me. Those desires that she has are desires that I have. I don't know how to get her to buy into the choices I make that run counter to those desires. That's where we're having some difficulty.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to listen and occasionally make suggestion, but it is also still your decision. So, meanwhile, this entire time that she's been talking, she's done the little subtle, we're going to turn a little,
Sure.
and you guys are like heading back into the cave.
Right. Walking back without looking like we're walking back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what happened, is in the rush of casting the spell to come and confront her, I let my guard down, I guess.
And still managed to strike a deal with her.
Yeah.
Not so weak, Miss Theodosia Stokes.
No, it's not a weakness thing, but he doesn't see the value in people as people.
Or horses as horses.
Or horses as horses.
And she like pulls you in for a hug and then like sits you down at the table and slides a plate in front of you.
And then Theo realizes just how hungry she really is.
Right.
And, oh yeah, that's gonna be good, and digs in.
Yep.
But after a couple bites, she just looks around and says, "Sorry for worrying everybody. Been worried or disrupting, or I wasn't myself. Or I was too much of myself."
Or not enough.
Feeling better though?
I feel more like I was before.
Meanwhile, Rilla from behind Theo is nodding.
Yeah.
You're muted,
But-
Chris.
This place looks great, though, doesn't
Isabel just tosses you the book.
it?
I'm just glad I don't have to fucking figure out how to read this.
All right, yeah, we should see what's in store.
What's
for
in the
us.
plan for today? Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rilla is, mentioning it's like, we don't have to tear this down. We just close the door up, and now we have this.
I mean, are you ever gonna come back here?
We can
She
whenever
points
we want.
over at Legba and says, "We can."
Yeah, but like, It's just kind of in the middle of a desert.
We
That
ever
is an
need
advantage.
a fortress? Yeah. Actually, with that in mind, Rilla like goes and picks up a rock, puts it in her bag. I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
I say that, but does Rilla actually have dots of space yet? I can't
I
remember.
mean, if she doesn't, she's going to. So
Yeah, she does have one
just
space.
pre-planning.
Mhm.
Kind of become the world's deadliest mage. 2 dots in every arcana.
Mhm. Batman the Mage.
Yep.
That mage.
Ahem. So Theodosia reads.
And while she reads, Cloak walks over to Gisela. And he says, I was able to confirm that Shane is no longer in Purgatory Bluff. So, if you're willing, I'd like you to determine where he is.
I will try,
Thank you.
because I also don't have a connection to him. I can't cast on him, but I can sort of try to cast around it and see if I can figure it out.
Ask some questions about yourself or the others.
Yeah, hope you divine his location.
Theodosia reads, leave your shelter and embrace the storm. Travel back along the path of the storm, so basically west, for a day. See what damage it has wrought, what life it restores in its passing. All mages, whoever wrote this, are aware of this duality, for all power can destroy or heal, but the wise knows how to bring forth both at once.
That's interesting.
Walking in the rain.
Can you say that again?
I will copy paste.
Or that?
Boop, 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 and we'll put it in roll 20.
This is a great day.
It feels like a life and death day. We've already done death, haven't we? Yeah, we fought a ghost. Or, well,
That was
we almost
fine.
fought a ghost.
That didn't
But
feel like a death.
In
Yeah,
character or
what's
out
that?
of character?
I mean,
Ash.
oh, like, in character? Yeah, because we had the ghost on the first night, right?
The
Yeah.
ghost was just a welcome.
Mm-hmm.
The ghost
Now-
was not a trial of death. The ghost was a trial of crime.
The second day was definitely your death one, though, because that was the one about transition and change.
Oh, I thought that was the time one.
I appreciate the fact that I was actually able to do this without it being super obvious. But yeah, I will definitely tell you that the second one was death. So that's the one that you buried or left effigies. So
Mhm.
Yeah, we left parts of ourselves to die behind us, yeah.
Okay.
So, life? Oh, wait, no, that was the cats, yeah.
This could be matter.
It's the one you have trouble with. It's the storm itself. Fire cooks your food. Storms bring your rain. Water your crops. But
Smash
the
your
winds
house.
blow down houses, and the river carves through the ground in a relentless pace.
Hmm.
Or so I'm going to approach the day.
Shall we get moving?
you all mount up.
Is Gisela going to try that spell first? To
Oh,
define
yes.
about Shane Bauer?
I figured I would be doing that while we were
Yeah,
traveling.
which is absolutely fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
So yeah, Ash, you can
Yeah,
totally
because it's not like a spell. This is just going to be like sort of casting fishing nets and fishing lines and
Sure.
trying to see.
Gotcha.
See if you can get a bite. I like that. So yeah, you guys get everything kind of, horses hitched up into the wagon. What do we do about hiding Chateau Stokes? Or do you?
I kind of think I need to return it to the way it was.
If you feel you need to.
Oh, unless somebody wants to talk me out of it.
I mean, if we're just trying to be safe and protect it and protect others from it, you could just close the entryway. And it would still be here in the future if you want it for some reason.
And 100 years of erosion later, somebody's going to find this mansion inside.
Be
100
very
years?
confused.
Be a
Yeah,
long
longer
time.
than that, yeah.
A lot longer.
Give them something to think about, perhaps. New legends to write. But if you feel you need to, I'm not going to try to dissuade you from undoing it.
Yeah, unless there's a
So-
compelling reason to keep it, I think I'll...
Cloak says this. He says, I'm sometimes compelled to try to make up for what I think are mistakes by eliminating the signs of those mistakes. And I've often found that the best thing I can do, at least for myself, is just endeavor to do differently in the future, rather than try to scrub away the evidence that I've done poorly before. So if you want to restore this butte to what it was before, that's entirely up to you. I would just encourage you to think if it represents an absolution, because it might not give you what you want.
No, I wouldn't get rid of it as a means to hide the tangible proof of my state when I made it. I would just return it to the way it was.
That seems meaningful. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'll do... domain's still up, right? So I'll do my shaping and fill it all back in.
How do you get the domain out?
Well, and because I was planning for this, the domain remains so long as the soulstone is within the domain.
Mhm.
So pick it up, put it in your pocket, and just walk backwards as
Okay.
she pulls the stone in.
I thought it was like locked in place.
Oh,
It-
fixed location.
Right,
That
I
makes
did.
sense.
I did look into it, and I was like, no,
Mhm.
it just has to remain within the domain, so it doesn't necessarily stick.
People
Just sort
sometimes
of
do that, though.
have everything swell like a wave and just have the soulstone pop out at the last.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
That's what I figured would happen.
Yeah.
Like you just sort of collapse and then it spits out your soulstone.
Pouring out. That's awesome.
But yeah, clean it up, and there's definitely this spot at point when like the wall restores as well as Theo can match it up, and Billy goes,
Yep.
she pulls the rock out of her back and kind of tosses it to the foot of the butte.
And the imago is that like Theo is returning this back to the land that she borrowed it from. As
Yeah.
That's cool.
I like that.
experimental.
It's like, thank you.
That seems like Baba Sarah
Mhm.
as well, and being a protector.
You're burying your time you spent here.
We continue on with you all heading west. It is definitely still rainy, so everybody's kind of hiding under, well, not everybody, under the wagon. It's a little bit drier, and Rilla does cast a forces spell over everyone individually, high subject scale, targeting literally everybody, including the horses. It's a bigger flex of her magic than she's done previously. Not going to bother rolling it or wasting a bunch of discussion about it, but for her it was like, hang on, I want to try this. And so the rain just kind of as opposed to the lodestone, which seems to, you know, bend and push stuff away. This just like, it just sloughs off. So it still strikes, but then it just, you know, it's kind of the hydrophobic effect.
Like Rain X.
Yeah.
The water hits you, but it rolls away. Yeah.
Yep. And just, you know, doesn't.
We've turned our
slow you,
body into a contiguous hydrofuge layer.
Yes.
Is that horses?
Shielding from weather, effectively.
You can just shield from the force of adhesion with the water.
If we
as well.
really want to get into that, yeah.
Yeah.
Adhesion, yeah, okay. Moving on, Chris.
How big's the wagon?
Pretty big, but with advanced scale and multiple subjects. Bum, bum, bum.
All right, let me rephrase that. How big's the wagon so I can cast a spell on it?
Yeah.
And I was queuing up this thing. I was doing it like a combination of a divination serendipity type thing, rather than trying to ask questions. I'm trying to find a thing that will nudge me in the direction of how we can find him.
Say around size 15. That's an elephant.
That's what I assumed. So thinking about pushing it, if that became necessary at some point.
Yep. This is -4 on scale, so it's not huge.
-4 on advanced scale.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, serendipity is a very good way. Shane?
Just like, Shane? Question mark? Yeah, if I was doing like a combined fate and time spell, I roll with the lower of my arcana, right?
If conjunctional, you roll the higher.
Oh, okay.
If combined, you roll the lower.
Right. The difference being conjunctional is you use both arcana together. You can use the higher. For combined, it's you're getting 2 effects.
Oh, then yeah, I'm trying to use them together.
Right. And so you can roll the higher.
So it's 9.
Okay.
Sorry, you said -4?
-4.
-6.
Jump over to effectively serendipity. So that's the one that gives you a momentary glimpse. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get basically a glimpse of how we could be reunited with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the path that will put us and his intersecting.
Roll Gnosis plus Fate.
Can he use willpower?
Mm-hmm. It is a Clash of Wills, effectively. Okay. So there is something, you know, to get into the real, like, cliche fortune teller. Something is veiled, clouding your vision kind of thing. And you're like, no, fuck that. I want to
Again later.
Yeah. I want to know about this now. And the immediate like next step that you have is, besides the obvious turn away from the path that you're on in this journey, right? Is I gotta figure out the best way. Yeah, actually, I guess the best way to say it is to return, is to go to New York. There's some like symbols of space and, you know, things of travel and connection, but yeah, the easiest thing is to observe travel to something New York. Something is in New York, which not exactly a big surprise, but the confirmation.
Okay. I will relay that to everyone else, just that I'm not sure where exactly he is, but that was step one.
The direction, yeah.
Thank you. He's probably back in...
Holding.
Back held by the people.
With those who took him, or maybe they got what they needed and sent him home.
Yes. It's possible everything's fine.
All right, Chris. With your gravity spell.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's not a one-to-one with the example spell listed of gravitic supremacy, but essentially it's lessening the effect of the weight of the wagon, so that in the event of muddy, rough terrain, of being in the desert, that the two horses will still be able to carry a loaded wagon.
Awesome.
And
I
it will get bogged down and stuck.
I have an entire line of notes that I could cross through. Well, if we are successful in this spellcast, what are we doing about the overreach?
We are using both our dedicated tools.
Okay.
So it's canceled.
Ah, yes. Okay. There we go. Cool.
Until I take the next diagnosis, I'm good on that for the most part.
Oh, that's right, because your diagnosis too. Yes.
It's only once it starts going to 6, 8.
It's like, oh, wait,
dice.
hang on.
Oh shit! Well,
Yeah.
Cool. So 8 dice, please. And effectively just weakening the effect of gravity on the wagon. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
And imago-wise, I don't think that she's like read physics books or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
I think it's really just like reaching under and just imagining, as much as the clouds have weighed down everything and caused all this mud. She's picturing a boost of winds just sort of lifting it up
I like that.
a little bit.
Cool.
A cushion, if you will.
Actually, little narrative fluff question here. For a while, a lot of her envisioning of stuff was sound and music, and occasionally like religious, God power, right?
Yeah.
Do you think after
I don't think this is outside of that.
Oh, that's fine. That's exactly what I was going to ask. Is do you think this is some of that already, or a like little shift? Because of the legacy,
there will be shifts for sure, but very much in the like it's not full on like riding through heaven on a cloud, but it's very much that like just like lifted up, and especially from the everything that she saw going on top of the Tempest is pearly gates and walking on clouds and everything like that. So
yep. Okay.
It tracks.
Yep, I dig it.
It's a sort of human and world-made version of that sort of ideal.
That's very cool.
Cool.
We are now buoyed by your nimbus.
Nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, to my notes. The storm still lingers around the outside of the... Oh, it's not a hidden mansion anymore. It's the butte. Pouring down rain, but the absolute destruction has been toned down. More rainstorm than thunderstorm. There is a bit of sunlight that occasionally does kind of peek through with like thin spots in the clouds, creating little patches of light and color on the ground, which is still, kind of churned up, with occasional shapes of kind of dark shadow. After an hour of travel, the gait of the horses seems to pick up even faster, moving smoother and faster across the terrain, and the wagon makes even less creaking noises. At this point, now I have to go off notes here. Peripheral Mage Sight activates for everybody. And at this point, the wagon wheels combined with Isabel's spell basically doesn't appear to be turning so much as just sliding almost effortlessly across the ground.
Whoa.
But yeah. And definitely some, for Gisela specifically, Forces magic is up and about. Does anybody have Mage Sight on?
Marilla does.
Yes, basically as soon as that ping went on, I would have turned them on.
Right. Well, you would
I don't
have
have Forces Sight.
right.
But...
you would have had it on beforehand to get hit with the Nimbus. So everybody who had Mage Sight on while they were just traveling, actually, I guess, do you need to observe the mage casting it to see their Nimbus? Because it's off of them, not the subject.
It was on the subject.
Yeah.
Well, because the signature Nimbus appears there, but does the...
Oh, you mean hit with the immediate Nimbus?
Right, and like the
And
Nimbus
hit
tilt.
with the tilt?
I think you have to see the casting.
Oh, yeah, I think that's from the caster, right?
Yeah, let me see. Up check. Nimbus.
So we can see the Nimbus that is the spell on the wheels or whatever, but we can't see the one from the caster.
Directly
we were-
surrounding the mage.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there is a signature Nimbus if you investigate, because signature Nimbus only shows up in scrutiny. But yes, there's a definite effect, and for Rilla and anybody else who has Prime on can see the actual fact that it is an awakened spell. The effect, which everybody has some way of seeing one way or another, though clearer and less, is that the wagon is now lighter. As opposed to what Isabel did, which was, kind of lifting it. The effect has now is a matter effect. Literally
Making it less dense.
Yes, effectively. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I want to try to scrutinize it to find a Nimbus. Would that be scrutiny with Prime?
You can scrutinize with whatever. All of them, fortunately, do actually make way to getting the signature Nimbus. So, meta-wise, use your best.
Okay.
This is a low opacity. This is... What's the practice here? Probably just 2. Yeah, opacity of 2.
Okay, I'll spend 1 mana because if I get a success, I want to just get it.
Perfect.
3. Okay.
Yep. Oh, wait, that's not an exceptional. So you just knock down the first level of opacity, which is... Wait. Yeah, because you can only do 1 opacity at a time. Right. Without an exceptional. So you do get through that first tier. This is a low opacity, so it's like, okay, looking at this, gonna need like another hour before you can go at this again. Yeah, go ahead and roll. It won't change the next bit. Perfect.
4.
Yep. The effect is, I believe we have seen this Nimbus before with some of the things that you all have inspected. And this is clearly the same Obrimos effect. I should actually come up with a signature Nimbus for this. But yes, it is the same recognizable one that you have seen before, and I will definitely write something up for the future. But yeah, it is, and I'm saying this because will edit this later and hopefully actually make a note then. For our tale now, though. But yes, continuing on. And the sun seems to be really kind of burning off the tail end of the storm. The clouds are getting much wispier. The rain is slowing. The patches of light on the ground are becoming a little bit wider, more constant. But the deep, dark shadows are not going anywhere. And wits plus composure for anybody who decides to try and look up and kind of squint. And fortunately, you're heading west, so the rising sun is back behind you in the east. And try to figure out what the hell is leaving shadows.
Quick wouldn't look up, but it does seem curious, so he would attempt to perceive.
Okay, 5.
Heck yeah. 3 from Theo. Oh, yeah, and I guess
So this like looking up and behind us, trying to see
Oh yeah,
what's casting.
yeah.
Yep.
that's a good roll.
Cool.
Damn.
I'm going to attribute the exceptional successes there to, especially for Isabel, storm stuff. What's going on? But yes, looking kind of back and then up and around and trying to see, and you can see, and especially more difficult behind you, but looking forward, it's considerably easier to see. So everybody can see this. Everybody got more than 2 successes. There appears to be rocks in the sky.
Well, that's new, but
At this distance, one might consider them boulders in the sky, and kind of looking forward, especially we've got the storm kind of lessening, and the clouds turning wispy. You can be like, oh yeah, those are different
they
boulders.
Stationary?
No.
Yeah, okay.
One more.
Are they getting bigger?
Yes and no. Ahem. Oh man, this is 8:42. I thought this was going to be the challenge for the session, but it might just be next week's session.
We'll see.
But yeah, you can look up and see them, and the boulders behind you seem to be fairly like lazy motions and not really doing anything. But as the clouds completely clear down to just like nothing, right? You can see, especially farther out, you can see some of these are starting to move with a bit more agitation. And then lightning emerges and shoots from one of the boulders kind of out ahead of you, striking down to the earth. And then the boulder, instead of kind of drifting side to side through the air, just starts to plummet, crashing quite heavily. You notice another one suddenly start to slow its drift back and forth, and it starts to get bright, very, very bright, small sun, and then all of a sudden it just stops as it starts plummeting to the earth. And then another one begins to shriek, almost. This kind of stone shearing sound as it just bursts, and pebbles rain down. And this is some stuff that you can see, football field away.
Sounds like something superheated the water inside.
Well, yeah,
Sonic,
that's not a bad
damage.
idea. Huh?
Sonic damage.
Because there's also one that, just as the last little example, gets bright, but not quite as bright as that first one. But then it becomes a little bit more amorphous and starts to drip.
Ooh.
As lava falls from the sky, not magma, but lava. Remember, kids, there's a difference.
That's right.
I would like to do a perfecting spell.
Sure.
We said this was an elephant, right? So the wagon and everything.
The wagon by itself is size 15.
I think I have the scale on mine correct. I was basically just trying to do red light, green light on us for if we're going to have to dodge these, perhaps, just to let us be a little bit more in the right spot at the right time.
Gotcha. Advanced scale -4 has enough subject and size to get all the.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I guess it's true because if you're less concerned about actually targeting the wagon, you just.
Well, no, I wanted to get all of us, yeah.
Right,
and
the people
wagon,
and the horses.
so.
Okay, yeah.
What would be the potency of a boulder colliding with the wagon?
In terms of like damage or
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
A lot.
a lot.
Like impossible to counter a lot.
Depends on how you're trying to counter it. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What do you?
Well, I was gonna do a perfecting spell to reinforce the wagon
mad
and its
armor.
structure and the cover, and basically trying to make it boulder proof. But I want to know what sort of potency I'm going to need to put into it.
Well, to take no damage, you're gonna have to really crank the durability up. But each point of durability is going to reduce how much damage it takes. If I remember correctly, the object rules.
Durability is armor for objects.
Right. Okay. And
Structure
structure
is-
is which is also a factor of durability. But yeah, one of these boulders, and we are talking large boulders, is easily going to be dropping like, I don't know, what do we want to say, 15 points of lethal. It is definitely in the direct hit is not survivable.
Yeah, on this one, so I'd be rolling 7 and overreaching by 1 because I had instant, advanced scale, advanced duration.
Okay. And overreaching with Gnosis 3, so that's 2 paradox. And are you spending mana or dedicated magical tool? What do we?
I was just using the shadow name theme to try to weave us through.
Mm-hmm. I'm just talking about how to deal with the paradox.
I guess I can use my tool as well. That would be a yantra of 4, not 3.
Mm-hmm. So that makes it a chance die. Cool. And total dice of 10.
8, because it's got to be -4, not -2 for the scale.
Correct. Cool. Craig, your total comes up as 0, which is technically a rollable thing. It's just a chance die.
Yeah. But I didn't count in a primary factor, but if I make a primary factor potency, I can take some of that potency off.
Yeah.
I believe the spell...
So I'll have 6.
So I think it's Crucible? No.
You wanted it to last a day.
Mm-hmm.
Doo-doo-doo.
One success.
Hell yeah.
Alter Integrity. That's the one. Which has a primary factor of potency. So that will give you 2 more potency. So, hang on. Why did you roll 6?
Because I, with a 3 in there, with the Arcana, that would give me a 3 potency right off the bat, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was
You're
going
just
for
dropping the...
Yeah. So I'm taking the equivalent of my Arcana off the potency, so it gave me 6 dice.
Gotcha. And then the overreach, how are you handling that?
Well, I was going to do a couple of mana, and I have my dedicated magical tool.
Cool. So a chance to die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You gotta roll a little bit of wisdom. Doesn't affect the spell anyway, so...
You said it was a chance die.
Oh, it is a chance die. Thank you. I just read it said 1 success, Ralph. I don't know
Yep.
what you want from me.
It says it right there. What do you want from me?
So yeah, perfect. Heavily armoring up the
Right,
wagon.
So we've got a potency a durability 5 wagon now, and that's like the covering
additional
and,
5.
Yeah.
Additional 5, yeah.
Yep.
What does it look like?
It looks pretty much the same, but like the cloth doesn't rattle anymore.
Oh.
Like it's all like very solid to the touch.
It has gone completely like steel. Because at this, level of durability, pretty sure. Let's see here. I always talk about, one of these days I'll bookmark where durability of objects is, and I never do. There it is. Because, with a durability of wood being 1, and then you've added 3 more, so you are basically an additional.
You added 5 more.
Added 5 more.
Oh yes. So you're several layers of reinforced steel. So yeah, it can take a hit, and of course because increased durability, increased structure. But yeah.
We need to get some of this wagonium for structures in town.
Theodosia.
And that's good for a day.
Good stuff. All
Play
right.
baseball with this.
Cool. Yes. So I imagine there's like a slow of the horses where everyone's like, "The fuck are we doing?" Followed by
And the horses are like, "The fuck are we doing?"
That shrieking sound and the lightning strikes and stuff.
Mhm.
I'm sure it's not comfortable for them.
Oh no, they're definitely they're definitely having some problems here. But there's the momentary pause, and then
Can I try to calm them? I have a point in animal ken.
sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Cloak is going to do the same, but I will wait for everybody to do what they do.
Wits or composure?
It's composure and animal kin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there you go. And I imagine this is less of calm down and more of, no, these guys are panicked and I just want them to go forward. Just keep going. Don't slow down and stop, because this stuff is, coming down all around you kind of sensations. So, yeah. Jules definitely brings his horse in close to the wagon. It's like, what the hell is going on? And you guys take off, not necessarily at a trot, but definitely more of a haul ass kind of scenario.
Everyone pulls up, and then Isabel leads the charge
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
on Jose. It's like,
Yeah.
raising your staff, the big white light. No,
Yes.
I mean, no, but
We shall pass.
you're not wrong,
right.
but you're not right, because she's driving with her knees, and she's got both guns pulled out, and
Gonna shoot
she's
rocks?
going. Yes. Specifically, I want to enhance the muzzle velocity, the exit velocity of the bullets, so that they impact with about, multiplicative impact forces.
Sure.
Right?
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
You got some rail guns in your palms, tungsten rods, shot into the boulders.
Exactly.
Fuck yes. This is great.
No, hell yeah.
Such that if it's not like she's shooting the ones that are out there. It's like if an asteroid's gonna hit the Earth, we're gonna send up somebody to nuke it, right?
Right. And that does handle.
And I ain't gonna miss a thing.
Also true. Oh my god. It definitely took me a beat to actually. God. Okay.
Yes.
Core Armageddon. If you got any more
So
chat,
good.
YouTube comments, please.
I had the song playing in my head as soon as you start
So-
nuking asteroids.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Looking
Yeah.
great.
Anyways,
You're welcome.
yep. Yeah. The gun effect works very well for some of the boulders. There's the issue of occasionally lightning glancing down, and just because we are a little bit short on time, we will come back to resolve this. We're not just skating past this. But pointing out falling boulders, absolutely. Lightning, can't shoot.
There's forces armor for that.
Right. The dripping lava boulders, and meta knowledge, out of character knowledge. Basically, something is turning the potential energy of a bunch of rocks swinging through the air into other forms of forces. And
cool.
lightning, sound, light.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be the gauntlet that I guess we will start off next session with.
Sounds like the chase scene to me.
So the storm was a spirit trial.
What? Nah. We haven't even touched spirits yet. Yeah, this is good.
To this land.
It also means that this week I can literally just do nothing but chase rules for sure, but then also see, okay, what potential complications happen. So this would be very, very good. And notably, as we run out, yes, as the horses start to haul ass, now fortunately we already have a spell in place for this, so it's less concerning, but the wagon suddenly
spells apparently.
You did.
Okay.
And then the wagon settles back, and what would have normally dropped you into the mud, but instead it's just like, and it's rolling right along.
Okay.
So yeah, it was definitely a setup of like, oh yeah, see, just go guys, and then and break some wheels, but damn. And like I was like, I can't even be mad at this. It's a perfect setup. There's no way in hell Chris had any idea, and I like the idea of some mage forethought getting a win. So I ain't gonna complain about that. So thank you all for joining us. It's good to be back for Mage. I act as if it's been like a month or something. It's been like 2 weeks. 2, yeah. But thank you all for
2
joining
weeks
us.
off. That's 3 weeks
yeah.
since we played.
Thank you all for joining us. If you're looking for more stuff, if you're totally caught up, go check out Kids on Brooms. We did the first one, and then we did a more recent follow-up. And we fought an Ent. And we also did a little Chronicles of Darkness tier list, which was pretty fun and a good way for us to spend the day since Craig was out. And so we got to do something instead of nothing. Yeah. If you want to support us monetarily, that's patreon.com/occultistsanonymous or staylucky.club. If you want to come by Discord, which, by the way, you do not need to be a patron for, you can just come hang out. That's www.eatinto.space. Come hang out, chat with us. We'd love to hear you. Or if you just want to lurk and get like notifications when stuff is happening, things like that, awesome. Please do come hang out. And if you are going to lurk, it is a-okay to be like, hey, I'm just lurking, and I promise we will not engage you in conversation other than
we'll say hi at you, and then
lots of little Discord sticker waves, and you can go on your merry way and just chill. It's absolutely allowed. If you do want to join in conversations, we'd love to hear about what your game is, questions about different systems. I mean, it is primarily Mage in there, but we play a bunch of stuff, and the community plays a lot more stuff. So yeah, if you've got questions like, I'm trying to figure this thing out in this system, there's some nerd somewhere in our Discord that probably knows. So yes, do swing by, check that stuff out. And yeah, here in a few weeks after this arc is over, we're gonna jump into some other games, starting with a game that you've already seen, and we will continue the bold adventures of. So until then, we'll see y'all next time.
See y'all soon.
Everybody.